When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. That's what they say, right? And that's true about Val as well. You see, most people don't really know what Val is or what it means, and I'm not blaming you for it. Um, and that's why we abuse this celebration quite so much. So let me bring you up to speed quickly. You see, Saint Valentine was a Catholic priest who died defending love, and that is why we have Valentine's Day, and that is why we celebrate Valentine's Day today. He was martyred by the then Roman Emperor, Emperor Claudius II, because he defied the emperor's imperial decree for soldiers not to get married within that period for whatsoever personal reasons. Now, St. Valentine's went all out against all odds, conducting secret marriages for the people, which eventually landed him in prison. While in prison, he did quite a number of remarkable things, but the one that stood out was the fact that he healed his prison warder's blind daughter. Wow, who does that? Only someone full of love, you know. And that singular act did not just attract the attention to him, but it sparked up revival and devotion all over Rome, even amongst non-Christians. Now, on a sad note, Saint Valentine was eventually killed precisely on February 14th, 270 AD. And on his parting note, he addressed it as "from your Valentine." And that's exactly where we got the idea of distributing letters and notes during the season. But now it has gone beyond distributing just letters and notes to distributing sex and material things. And I doubt if that's the idea, the scenario that played out here depicts. Yeah? Okay, going forward, I think you'll get to understand this expression better. You see, sometime in the mid-age, a poet, Geoffrey Chaucer, took it upon himself to kind of associate Valentine's Day with romance. And why did he do that? Because it marked the beginning of the bird mating season. Bird that flies. Now think for a minute. How does that make sense? We are already celebrating someone who died for love, for a selfless and a sacrificial love, and you now came to match the day to the bird mating season. It doesn't make any sense. Now we're in the 21st century and things are all messed up. Now you don't have to wonder for too long as to how we got here. Most of the things that happen physically have a spiritual backing somewhere. You and I will agree that St. Valentine did not die for romantic love. He died for agape love. Just for the record, you see, agape love is a selfless love, is a Greek word for selfless love, while eros is the Greek word for romantic love. Yeah? And this thing we call romantic love is something we celebrate every day, isn't it? You celebrate romantic love with your spouse, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend every blessed day. Yeah? And of course, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm not surprised because the devil is always out to mess up every good thing the Lord God Almighty inspires or creates. You see, the Bible reveals that to us in John 10:10. The devil comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus came to give life and life in abundance. And you see, that explains exactly why this good thing that started in agape love, later on got intertwined or mixed up with the bird mating season and romance. And currently, only God knows where we are, because it's all completely in a state of mess, mixed up with all sorts of immoral behaviors in the name of love. I think it's time we set the record straight. St. Valentine's died for agape love, and that is the kind of love we should project on Valentine's Day, period. The common mistake most people make nowadays is they compare romantic love, or they mistake romantic love for sacrificial and selfless love. Yeah? And that does not make sense. Because anybody out there can practice romantic love, can practice romance. But only committed people can really practice sacrificial and selfless love. You see it? So there's a huge difference between eros and agape love. Yeah. And besides, there's a very thin line between romantic love and lust. And you see why it's busy killing people out there these days, much more than banditry and natural disaster. Sincerely, people are dying every blessed day in the name of love. Why? Because they are wrongly using the term. What they are falling for is not love, but lust. Yeah? Romeo and Juliet died for love. Do we commemorate them? Do we celebrate them? Why? Because that's folly. They died for lust and not love. Now, a lot of people die every day. People take rat poisons. People take all sorts of poisons. People die of depression because their loved ones disappoint them, right? What would you term that? Love? That's eros, not agape. You see it? And that is why we must invest in educating people on how to love correctly. Because people are actually falling for lust and not love. Go ahead and celebrate love. Love is a beautiful thing, but do it the right way. If you cannot express love in the Valentine's season the right way, brother, there's no point celebrating it. Finally, you see, you cannot build a lasting relationship, union, or home on eros. Eros is a selfish kind of a relationship. And most of the thing we call romantic love is lost. You cannot build a lasting legacy with it. You can only, or it's safer to build your unions and relationship on agape love. and then you introduce romance on the long run. Guess why? Because romance fails and it fades. So you see, when you build your relationship and union on agape love, eventually when romance begins to fail and fade, you see you have something you can fall back to. And besides, it's not eros. Your relationship is not binding on eros, it's binding on agape. So your union can never fail whatsoever, right? And that would save you a lot of heartbreak, a lot of brokenness and sadness. You feel me? You know, when Jesus' disciples asked him, Master, what is the greatest command? Jesus told them and said, love the Lord your God with the whole of your heart, your mind, and your soul. The second command is like, namely this, love your neighbor as yourself. That does not sound like eros to me. It sounds much more like agape, the selfless kind of love. Yeah? Well, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you know what? You're my vow. You're my vow, and I celebrate you now, always, and forever. And that's why I'm sharing this video with you. So you do me a favor. If you love me back, just like this video, and then kind of subscribe to my channel so you and I can preach the gospel together. Yeah? I think that sounds like a good idea.